Okay, welcome to this part of the section on form and content. We're going to be discussing the design process. Now there's 5 parts to the design process. There is research, sketching, rough drafts, rough art, the final art, and the final presentation. So there's 5 parts to the design process. And you can think of it more as an inverted triangle. The rough or the reference would be, your general idea, and it starts out this way. And as you go into your sketches, you're refining your ideas, and then you're going into your rough draft, and finally your final piece of art, and then your presentation is basically when you're presenting it to your client or your boss, or in this case, me, your professor. So you start out with many ideas. You try to get as many ideas and inspirations as you can, and then you start to finalize and make choices, assessing things. And as you go through the design process, you end up with one product, your final art, and then you make that presentation to your superior. So we're going to be talking about sketching today. So here is my sketchbook, okay, and I have various kinds of implements that I can draw with. I prefer, these are both of my favorites, okay. So this is a Uniball rolling pen, and it's very fluid and makes really nice marks. And this is just a mechanical pencil, sort of a cheap mechanical pencil, and you can see that both of these will work really well. Now, if you look at my sketchbook, it's filled with various kinds of ideas and just kind of playing around and just coming up with ideas. So what I'm going to do is, we've already looked at our reference, okay? So I'm going to find myself a blank sheet of paper. Now, generally, I like the spiral bound kind of sketchbook so that you can flip it over like so, okay? And in our last, the previous section of the design process, we've done our research already. So I've come up with some ideas of love, for example. So basically when you do a sketches, they're called thumbnail sketches, okay? Or sketches, when you get out there in the professional world, sometimes, you don't have to be very precise, but let's just say I'm going to draw small rectangles to the proportion of 8 by 10. So the idea is that this particular rectangle, if it were enlarged, this would be an 8-inch dimension this way, and this would be a 10-inch dimension this way. Now, this is not accurate, but it gives me a rough sense of proportion, okay? So a 10-inch wide format would be wider than the height, which is 8 inches. So I'm going to draw in, now I usually require 16 various thumbnails of references. So the more references you have, the better off you are. So I'm going to do 8 of them. So this is like 1/2 the amount that I'm going to ask you to do. And you're going to be very fluid. Now remember, in our idea generation, searching for ideas with idea mapping, let's say, where you're trying to find creative solutions to a problem, you want to be fluid in your thinking, okay? So you want to look at as many ideas as you can. You want to, think of in terms of love. We could think of hearts, we could think of couples, we could think of roses, symbols, other symbols of love, and then we'll take those pictures that we have acquired and make sketches of them, and we want to begin to compose ideas. So let's take the idea of love, and I'm just going to draw some hearts in here, and very quickly I'm just sort of a border of hearts, love, okay? And then this would be sort of a man and a woman holding hands, okay? And that's just one thing, and maybe the rose, okay, will be in the middle. Okay, so that's just one idea. Maybe I want to make the rose bigger, okay, and I'll put it off to the side, and then I'll have the people kind of holding hands this way with some hearts scattered about in more of an irregular sort of rhythm type thing, okay? So you notice that I'm not really going really detailed and precise with my imagery. I'm taking a very quick gestural type of approach to drawing. So this might be, you know, my main focus on this one might be the people sort of holding hands right here, okay? And this one kind of has a bit of a coat on, I guess, and then over here maybe what I can do is the roses will be a border, I don't know. And I'm going very quickly, and like I said, I don't know, but I'm using my reference to give me ideas, okay? I might just go ahead and pattern a rose and then a heart, a rose and then a heart. And I might just make a pattern in the background. And now this becomes a heart and then a rose. And so you notice how quickly and sort of rough, very rough that I'm doing this. It doesn't have to be real precise. It's really just for idea generation. And then here's another rose. And then on top of this, maybe, you know, I'll do the people holding hands, okay? So I'm just kind of giving a rough idea, and then, you know, I could maybe darken those up, so just to let me know, I intend to put those on top of that pattern, let's say, okay? So, you know, I could do, you know, maybe a heart for the head, you know, and we could do it that way. It's you know, you really need to be very fluid in your thinking. Turn off that inner dialogue, and maybe this could be a big rose in the background, let's say. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw sort of a rosy thing in the background. That could be an idea, you know. Maybe the people are in the background this way, you know, and holding hands. Okay, and then I could type in the word, say, love. That could be in there too, I suppose, you know, and here's some hearts this way. So, again, I'm not sure. And then here's a heart, and here's a rose, and then the people are down here. Maybe move it over. So, you know, I'm making some, you know, mistakes as far as accuracy goes, but I'm just noodling out ideas. And that's the purpose of these things. So, you know, maybe it could be a rose and a heart, let's say. And the people are like in the middle here. So I have these individual resources, references. So now that I've done the sketches, I'm going to take one of those sketches and I want to make it into a rough piece of art. I'm developing this idea. So in this case, I'm going to come back here to my sketchbook, and you know, I really sort of like this one here, so I might put a little X there. This one's kind of interesting. I kind of got a border going on here, and then maybe this one here, or I can combine two. So I got three of them. I like the idea of maybe doing something with the word love. So possibly this one as well. So, but this one I think is going to be my favorite one. I sort of like that one, and I'm going to develop that. I'm going to develop that in my rough stage of the design process.